James.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm good.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. So, just a disclaimer, really quick. This is in no way, shape, form, fashion a real counseling session. This is a graded assignment that will only be seen by my professor. Okay? Also, too, anything that we talk about is between you and I, so it's all confidential. So what brings you into therapy today?
Well, there's multiple things.
Okay.
One is the nightmares I've been having, and two is me going back to school.
Okay. So the nightmares that you're having, I know that that's a real problem, okay? Because obviously it's a nightmare, right? Let's talk about more on the positive side, okay? Which is you going back to school for nursing. Tell me a little bit about the steps that you want to take to achieve that goal.
Well, at first I was wanting to go ahead and get my full registered nurse's degree, but that's 2 to 4 years, give or take, depending on the school I want to go to. However, with the rising case of COVID cases and everything else going on right now throughout the state of Texas and our country, they're in desperate need of medical technician assistance, which is a certified course and a lot less time. So I figured I'd go ahead and start there. That way I can start getting into the field and start working, and then I'll go back and finish my registered nurse's degree.
So the certified technician, is that what I heard you say?
Yeah, it's a certified medical assistant technician.
Okay. Do you see that one as attainable?
Yeah, it's 9 months.
Okay. So you've got a first step there to become a registered nurse, correct? So you want to become that certified medical assistant,
Correct.
okay, which is great.
And what they do is they pretty much help the nurses.
Okay.
For pretty much anything. They're almost like CNAs, but they're a level up and a step down from being a nurse. So you get more hands-on training.
Okay, so give me an example of what a medical assistant does.
So a medical assistant not only would be taking blood pressures and things like that, but they also can be trained to do IVs, along with doing blood work.
Okay.
Take blood work and things like that. So I'm very interested in doing that. It's a step down from what an RN does, but it helps the RN out a lot. And it's not wiping people's butts. Which I did when I did CNA 17 years ago. So
okay. So you're actually changing, going from a CNA to a certified medical assistant, and then your ultimate goal is to become the registered nurse.
Correct, for pediatrics.
Okay, so there is a progression there.
Correct.
So how meaningful is this to you to obtain this goal?
Very.
How do you mean?
A lot of people get into the field of wanting to become a nurse because they know it's good money and because it's in high demand. However, ever since I was 20 years old and my grandfather died of cancer, I've always wanted to get into the field of nursing to help people who don't have the ability to have someone there for them. When I worked in recovery in a drug treatment facility, I worked as a recovery advocate, and I even have clients reaching out to me years later and still in their recovery and saying, you know, I remember when I went through my darkest time and you were right there with me. And they said you would be the perfect nurse.
How does it feel getting that affirmation, if you will?
It's very rewarding. I've always been a workaholic and I've always put people before myself. When it comes to relationships, it's always burned me, but when it comes to work, it made me feel like I at least did something. So like with the Right Step, when I worked for them, anytime that I actually saw somebody excel in and progress in their recovery, if I can change one life a day, then I've done my job.
So what I'm hearing you say is that it's rewarding for you.
Yeah. So if I can save a life a day, then I've done my job.
And saving a life is absolutely important. You know, that's why being in this field, you know, helping clients talk about what's going on with them to help them. So you're in a very similar situation where you want to help others. And that's a great thing to go into. So congratulations on that one.
Thank you.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever heard of the stages of change?
The 3 C's?
What would you say that is?
Or is it the 3 W's? It's something like that. You have to have the courage to. Is it? You have to. I can't remember it, but I know it's like the 3 C's. You have to have the courage, change, and something else.
Well, and I like that idea. I wish I knew what that third one was because that would help me
I'll
out.
have to look it up.
Please do and let me know. The stages of change, they use it a lot in recovery, okay? But they also use it we also use it in the field of counseling. And what they are, there's 6 stages, okay? Well, there's actually 5, but there's another one in there as well. Pre-contemplation, which is the idea that a person looks at themselves and says, I don't have a problem, there's nothing wrong with me. The second stage is contemplation, where the individual looks at themselves and says, maybe I do have a problem, but maybe it's not as bad as people think that it is. The third one is preparation, where the individual gets ready to change, okay? They actually go through that idea of, okay, how can I change? What steps do I need to take to change, okay? The fourth one is action, where the individual actually goes through the process of making those changes for themselves. And then the fifth one is maintenance. Maintenance is where they maintain all of that behavior that they changed in the beginning. And then the sixth one, which a lot of people don't know, is relapse. Okay, relapse can mean so many things, where they regress back into their old selves, whether,
Trust me, I know that too.
whether mentally, in their addiction, etc. Of those 5, don't take the relapse portion of it, okay? But of those 5, which stage do you think that you are in?
I would say number 3.
So you're in preparation.
Correct. Preparation to change.
Why do you think you're in that stage?
Because with the 6, and it's very interesting that you brought up those 6 stages, and the last one was actually really funny with the relapse, because not too long ago I actually went through a relapse after 4 years of sobriety. Wow. And I went through it because I didn't know how would I say this? I didn't know what my triggers would be for a relapse, because I spent 4 years of, when I was in jail, I got out of jail, went to school, after school, went full force, hardcore into doing what I wanted to do, and I just stayed in that path. The only thing I didn't contemplate is, after 4 years of sobriety, I got to a point where I was like, oh, I'm never gonna relapse, I'm good, you know. But then I started having little triggers pop up here and there, and then all of a sudden, my relapse happened. This time going forward, I have a goal set. I went through something very traumatic. I'm still dealing with that. But as I've been told by friends before, is if I sit there and I let that continuously bring me down, I'm gonna end up being back where I was. The only way to fight it is to take a better step and take a better step forward into my life of seeing where I want to go. So with that, it's having me, this is a dream I've had for 17 years. When I started CNA school, I just never completed it. Then I kind of got into recovery 3 years ago, working at the drug treatment facility. And even then, the more I started working there, I was like, you know, I really want to go back to school and get my nursing degree. Now I'm 37, unemployed, don't have anything going for me right now. So hey, why not?
And the pandemic doesn't help.
No,
you
it
know.
doesn't.
But do you see why I started the goal that you want?
Yeah.
When you first mentioned the nightmares, okay, I don't want to devalue that because it's very important to you. That's why I brought into the goal. What goal do you have? And focus on that goal, which hopefully, it will help ease the pain a little bit from those nightmares. It'll help replace those nightmares with something on a more positive scale, okay?
Hopefully, because I've had the nightmare 6 days in a row. So
Goodness, I can't even imagine.
waking up screaming, tossing, turning, sheets coming undone.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow. Well, hopefully, like I stated, hopefully the goal of you wanting to become a nurse, which is your end goal, but you've got your short-term goal here, which is to become a medical assistant. You know, you accomplish that, accomplish the next level, so on and so forth, until you finally reach that last goal. It sounds like you're starting on the right path.
Yeah.
And that is, you know, a positive direction in your life, right?
Well, the way that I look at it is with the pandemic going on and everything, you see videos on Facebook and social media about people who have to spend 2, 3, 4 weeks in a hospital, not being able to see their family, not being able to see their animals, not being able to do anything except be behind the walls of where they are because of the pandemic, because of being contagious and passing it on, or there being health risks and high risk situations. And some of these patients have to die not being able to say goodbye.
Being alone.
Yeah. I know what that's like with an animal. And that was like my child. But this is my way to be able to give back and give to somebody else who's not going to be able to be there. At least I can be there for them.
And it's part of the way to you to heal.
Yeah, in a way.
On some level. You know, it may not be right away, but it's a process to help you heal. You know.
Well, it's also a good distraction.
It is, but don't get too distracted because
No.
you don't want to forget about it. You know.
You can never forget about something traumatic like that.
No, you can't.
But it's a way for me to be able to get out of my dark place and into something more positive and more mainstream, to where I can start executing and maintaining where I need to go.
And like you said, to help others.
Correct.
And that's the important thing. You know, because helping others also helps yourself in the
Most
long run.
definitely.
You know, it gets you out of your head, so to
Yeah.
speak, and it gets you focused on something again more positive, right?
Correct.
And that's the beautiful part about coming into therapy, is it this allows you to see that firsthand, and you get to experience that.
That's correct.
You know, so I wish you all the luck.
Well, thanks.
I know it's not going to be easy.
No.
I can't imagine that it will be easy.
But at least I'll look good in some scrubs.
Hey, you know, each way goes. I don't even know how to respond to that one. You actually lost me on that one. I'm gonna. Yep, you lost me. How do you feel about this goal that you want to accomplish?
Nervous, because I haven't done my nursing in, as I said, in 17 years. So I'm 37 years old. Granted, I don't look it, but 37 and starting nursing, it's terrifying, but it gives me a kind of like an adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
Because I know what I'm capable of doing. And when I was doing psychology, I finished before my school shut down with a 3.5, and if I put that much effort into my nursing, I can graduate with top honors and go as far as I can. Because the only person who can set a limit for yourself is yourself.
There's a perfect quote that I like to use every once in a while. The sky's the limit, only you set the limits. You know?
Yeah. Another quote is you're never given an obstacle that you're never given the power or the tools to be able to complete.
Absolutely. We're never given too much that we can't handle.
Nope.
You know, and that's the beautiful part. You know, about believing in yourself and being able to move forward. You know, and saying, I can do this, I can accomplish this. That's what we hope to gain with you, right, James?
Oh, yeah.
That's what it's all about. Focus the attention on you and move forward. Okay? How do you feel right now?
Good.
Do you feel empowered?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
I'm ready. Let's go. Give me that stethoscope and those scrubs, and we'll go.
You are too much. You are too funny.
Thank
All
you.
right. Well, have a great rest of your day. And thank you so much for joining me on this. I really
Thank you
appreciate
for having me, Jerry. It was my pleasure.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Well, thank you very much.